Senate hearing, questions about his secret meetings with the Russians and his role in firing James Comey. Now the startling headline from one of Trump's closest friends. He says the president is considering firing special counsel Robert Mueller, the man now leading the Russia investigation.
Breaking news. Former NBA star Dennis Rodman landing in North Korea overnight during a period of high tension. His spokesperson saying he'll use his friendship with both Trump and North Korea's leader to, quote, open a door. How the State Department is responding this morning.
30 tornadoes reported in the heartland.
Oh, no!
This powerful twister leveling a house in seconds as a record-breaking heat wave scorches the country. New highs from the Midwest to the Northeast. Some cities feel like 100 degrees, forcing schools to close early to beat the heat.
And golden again. The Warriors, the new NBA champs, getting revenge on the Cleveland Cavaliers and King James. MVP Kevin Durant and Steph Curry connecting for a huge night. And the big mystery, what did Durant whisper in Curry's ear with his daughter Riley right there? Now the MVP is sitting down with us right here on GMA.
Good morning, America. From the 2017 NBA champion, Golden State Warriors, and the Finals MVP.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And good morning, America. What a night, what a season for Kevin Durant and the Golden State Warriors. Second title in 3 years.
He was wearing the goggles because of the champagne all flowing in the locker room after. It was a true family celebration. That's the MVP's mom, enjoying the moment with her son. I love what he yanked on his goatee. And, of course, what about Riley? Yes, always stealing the show, dancing with dad on stage.
And, you know, of course, the team was so excited. They were going crazy in the locker room. That's what those goggles were for, as you said earlier, Robin. And the fans, they were celebrating as well as they should with the fireworks show outside of Oracle Arena last night. And TJ Holmes was lucky enough to be there to witness it all. Good morning, TJ.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yes, you'll talk about that champagne. Well, you can still smell the champagne. This is the actual trophy that we're celebrating with last night. And what a night it was. And like you say, what a season. This is something that the Bay Area actually has been waiting 43 years to see. This is something that the Golden State Warriors have been waiting now 2 years to get back. And this is also something that one player in particular has been waiting a lifetime for. He got it last night, and he could not wait to celebrate with his mama.
This finals victory was a family celebration for Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and the Golden State Warriors, who got their redemption and revenge against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers.
There it is, redemption for Golden State.
The Warriors shut down any hope of a finals comeback this year and finished off the Cavs in Game 5 to win their second title in 3 years over Cleveland.
The Warriors are NBA champions again.
Durant, in his first year with the Warriors, had 39 points and was named Finals MVP.
I told you when I was 8 years old, we did it. Yeah.
And he was overcome with emotion before the final buzzer.
How about Kevin Durant over here? Emotional.
In the end, holding back tears, he gave credit to his mother, who he calls the real MVP. Spectacular plays were mixed with some bad blood in Game 5. With their backs against the wall, the Cavaliers didn't back down, hoping for a repeat of last year's historic championship comeback.
Quickly and easily, LeBron James.
But LeBron this year just didn't have enough.
Curry, three, bang!
I have no reason to put my head down. I have no reason to look back at what I could have done or what I shouldn't have done or what I could have done better for the team. I left everything I had out on the floor every single game.
The Warriors capped off a historic playoff run, losing only once. And what's an NBA celebration without a fan favorite? Yep, Riley Curry.
All right, yes, Riley and his younger daughter, Ryan. I actually talked to Stephen Curry about his younger daughter. He was so excited. They were bouncing up and down, and it looked like he was, frankly, going to drop her for a second, but he joked, hey, I had enough turnovers in the game. I wasn't going to have another one with my daughter. But you're going to hear more from Kevin Durant a little later when we talked about why that celebration with his mom over a championship wasn't the biggest one he's had with his mom in his career, guys. But what a night for the Golden State Warriors. Back to you.
We remember when he won the MVP that one year and how he talked about his mother and was so emotional talking about all that she means to him.
And only his mom can grab him by his face on national TV and say, you did this, boy. You did this. And we're going to see more of your interview with Kevin Durant later on in the next half hour, TJ. So thank you for that. And now to you, George.
Yeah, we're going to move on now to a high-stakes day in our capital. President Trump escaping the heat, heading to Wisconsin with Ivanka for a business roundtable on job training. It's part of what the White House calls Workforce Development Week. More cameras focused on Attorney General Jeff Sessions. He's going to be appearing before the Senate Intelligence Committee to testify about the Russia investigation. ABC will air that as a special report this afternoon. And this morning, major questions about the man leading the investigation. Is the president considering firing special counsel Robert Mueller? Our senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega has the latest on all that. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hey, George, good morning to you. There are two different versions of this story here this morning. A close friend of President Trump says that he is considering firing Robert Mueller, but the White House says this friend did not meet with the president and that he does not speak for him.
This morning, a bombshell from a longtime friend of President Trump's. Chris Ruddy, Newsmax CEO and an ABC News contributor, says the president is considering firing special counsel Robert Mueller, the man leading the investigation into possible ties between Russia and the Trump campaign.
I think he's considering perhaps terminating the special counsel. I think he's weighing that option. I mean, Robert Mueller, there's some real conflicts.
But the White House is pushing back. A senior White House aide tells ABC News there are no private conversations happening about firing Mueller. A spokeswoman says Ruddy speaks for himself. But today, all eyes on what is expected to be yet another explosive hearing on Capitol Hill. The Attorney General will publicly testify before the Senate Intelligence Committee, facing tough questions about his dealings with the Russians during encounters like this. The Russian ambassador at Trump's first major foreign policy address at a D.C. hotel last April, Jeff Sessions there too. Sessions recused himself from the Russia investigation. During his testimony last week, former FBI Director James Comey hinted there's more to it.
We also were aware of facts that I can't discuss in an open setting that would make his continued engagement in a Russia-related investigation problematic.
Sessions was right there in the White House Monday for the president's first full cabinet meeting.
You set the exact right message, and it's being responded. The response is fabulous around the country.
The cameras allowed in too. Those cabinet members taking turns to one by one lavish praise on their boss.
Mr. President, we thank you for the opportunity and the blessing that you've given us to serve your agenda.
Greatest privilege of my life is to serve as vice president to a president who's keeping his word to the American people.
The president gave himself high marks too.
I will say that never has there been a president, with few exceptions, in the case of FDR, he had a major depression to handle, who's passed more legislation, who's done more things than what we've done.
Yeah, we've never seen a cabinet meeting quite like that one, but a major question this morning. Will Sessions limit his testimony by invoking executive privilege? Sean Spicer told us it depends on the scope of the questions. The president, he is tweeting this morning on his favorite topic, take a look, saying the fake news media has never been so wrong or so dirty, purposely incorrect stories and phony sources to meet their agenda of hate. Sad. George, no indication on exactly which stories he is fired up about.
Yeah, it seems like that was probably at the story about the special counsel. And actually, Chris Ruddy is pushing back as well. He just sent me a text a few minutes ago where he says that Sean Spicer didn't deny my claim that the president's considering firing Mueller. And then he goes on to say, memo to Sean, focus your efforts on exposing the flim-flam Russian allegations against POTUS and highlighting his remarkable achievements. Don't waste time trying to undermine one of your few allies.
And George, when Jeff Sessions goes before the Senate Intelligence Committee this afternoon, these are some of the key questions he'll likely face. How many times did he meet with Russians? Did he perjure himself in previous statements about his Russia contacts? And why did he stay involved in the firing of James Comey? And will he contradict Comey's testimony, which could set up another showdown? For more, let's go to our congressional correspondent, Mary Bruce. She's in the room where that hearing will get underway. Good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Robin. Well, in just a few hours, Jeff Sessions will be sitting right here. This is his first appearance before a Senate panel since becoming Attorney General, and it is going to be a high-stakes spotlight for Sessions. But this is one that he welcomed. He specifically offered to appear before this panel so that he could address these mounting questions about Russia. And he wanted to do it here in this room in this panel before the American people. Now, while Sessions is eager to address these matters head on, he could also decline to answer questions about those private conversations he had with the president. And Robin, that is not likely to go over well here in this room, especially among Democrats.
And we know in that room last week, Comey faced some tough questions, and that's what's going to happen perhaps with Jeff Sessions today. Who should we be looking for, the senators?
Yeah, Robin, so let's take a look. Sessions is going to be appearing here before at least 15 of his former Senate colleagues, but that does not mean that they are going to go easy on him. Sessions is likely to be grilled here today. Now, two people that we'll be keeping a close eye on: Kamala Harris. She sits right here. She's the freshman Democrat from California. She's a former prosecutor, and at last week's hearing with James Comey, she actually spent the bulk of her time focused on questions about Sessions, possibly laying the groundwork for some of what we're going to be hearing today. Now, over on the other side, Marco Rubio, the Republican from Florida, looked to see who are some of the fiercest defenders of the president. He was harsh on Comey last week, defending the president. We're going to be seeing if he's going to be doing some more of that here today. Robin.
We will see. All right, Mary, thank you. George?
Okay, Robin, thanks. I'm here with the former Speaker of the House, Newt Gingrich. She's also been a sounding board for President Trump. Is out with a new book, Understanding Trump. Thanks for coming back,
Great
Mr.
to see
Speaker. Let's begin with this issue of Robert Mueller. You've actually been quite critical of Mr. Mueller as well. Back in a couple weeks ago, you said, actually on Friday, you said Republicans need to focus on closing down the independent counsel because it clearly isn't independent. So you believe that President Trump should order?
No, I don't think Trump should do anything to him. But I do think the congressional Republicans ought to look into this. Mueller's first 4 hires were all Democrats. One of them had worked for the Clinton Foundation. One of them had, in 2 cases, deliberately hid evidence from the defense, one of which was repudiated by 9-0 by the Supreme Court. These are bad people.
Bad people?
Bad people. I mean, these are people who are going to be after Trump.
I had Ken Starr.
He did not hire a single Republican in the first wave.
I had Ken Starr, the former independent counsel, on the show yesterday. He said this is a fantastic team of complete professionals.
Well, Ken Starr and I live in 2 different universes then. I think when the first 4 people you hire all donated to the Democrats and to Hillary, when in one case they were basically reprimanded by the Supreme Court for hiding evidence in a case which cost 85,000 people their jobs. I am very dubious about the team that Mueller is putting
You bring up this issue of political contributions. Back when Ken Starr was independent counsel, he himself had actually given a lot of political contributions to Republicans, yet you and others supported that effort.
That's right. And I think we're in a different world. And I think if you look at the intensity of where we are right now, whether it is somebody holding up the bleeding head of the president or a New York play showing the assassination of the president, we're in a period where if people think this is going to be a neutral, professional investigation, I think they're delusional.
But you yourself a couple weeks ago, and you know this, had a tweet where you said Robert Mueller is a superb choice to be special counsel. His reputation is impeccable for honesty and integrity. The media should calm down. Look at Robert Mueller, decorated Marine in Vietnam, appointed to senior positions by 5 presidents, including Ronald Reagan and both Bushes.
Right. And I began to change, frankly, when Comey, with what I thought was an amazingly arrogant statement, pointed out that he felt he had the right to leak to the New York Times. He said this is his words, specifically in order to get a special counsel. The special counsel happens to be his close friend.
But this was a decision by the president's own attorney general, deputy attorney general.
Deputy attorney general.
Deputy attorney general.
Which
How can that be called into question?
Which Comey said he deliberately set out to force, and the first 4 people Mueller hires are all Democrats. Now, I understand that in the world of Washington, we have these fancy terms. This is part of why I wrote Understanding Trump, because I think Trump represents a different world. I think the establishment has been traumatized by Trump's victory, and I think things go on right now that are unthinkable. Again, I'm operating, it doesn't seem to affect the news media. I'm operating in a world where somebody can hold up the bleeding head of the president, somebody can assassinate the president in a play, and people go, oh, well, that's just politics.
Neither one of those are Robert Mueller.
No, but they set the tone. 97% of the political contributions in the Justice Department went to Hillary Clinton. Now, if I'm looking at a culture where 97% of the donations went to Clinton, do I think maybe that culture might be biased?
So you're just saying, basically, if that's your point, you're saying that anybody that is appointed by the Justice Department cannot investigate the president.
Comey appointed Fitzpatrick back when Comey was Assistant Attorney General, and Comey knew at the time that there was no crime involved, and he knew who had leaked. This is an obscure case, except that case then led Fitzpatrick for a year during the Bush re-election. cause trouble. I'm just telling you, here's what's going to happen. They're going to go out, and then they're not going to get Trump. They're just going to annoy him. But they're going to find some poor person exactly like Scooter Libby, who was Cheney's deputy.
If the president did nothing wrong, what does he have to worry about?
He has to worry. That's my whole point. Scooter Libby did nothing wrong. He ended up going to jail. He did nothing wrong. He was not part of the case, and the independent counsel was trying to flip him to get Dick Cheney. Independent counsels are very dangerous.
Mr. Speaker, thanks for your time this morning. The book is called Understanding Trump. I'll be anchoring our live coverage of Attorney General Jeff Sessions' testimony starting at 2:30 Eastern today. You can get breaking news alerts on the testimony throughout the day by downloading the ABC News app. Robin?
All right, George, now to that breaking news. Former NBA star Dennis Rodman in North Korea this morning, visiting amid high tensions. Let's go to our chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz. And Martha, we know that Rodman has met with a North Korean dictator before. He says he's going to try to open a door with this trip. How?
Yeah, Robin. Rodman's publicist says that the former NBA player is in the rare position of being friends with the leaders of both North Korea and the United States. Rodman was indeed a cast member on 2 seasons of President Trump's Celebrity Apprentice. And while walking through the Beijing airport, Rodman was asked if he had spoken to President Trump about this. And he said, well, I'm pretty sure he's happy with the fact I'm over here trying to accomplish something we both need. But a State Department spokesman says while they are aware of the Rodman trip and wished him well, he also reminded everyone that this comes at a time when Americans are being warned not to travel to North Korea, Robin.
Very well, because this is a very threatening time, Martha.
It really is, Robin. It's a very threatening time with Kim Jong-un testing missiles and on the verge of once again testing a nuclear weapon. And Donald Trump has said the U.S. will not put up with that, Robin.
All right, Martha, thank you. Now, Amy has the morning's other top stories, starting with a very difficult story, a police officer being killed in the line of duty.
That's right, Robin, and we are just getting word this morning that a suspect has been captured in connection with that killing of an Arkansas police lieutenant. Patrick Weatherford was shot during an encounter with the suspect northeast of Little Rock on Monday. Weatherford, a 15-year veteran, leaves behind a young family. Well, more than 1,500 people have been arrested during protests against government corruption in Russia, some chanting, Putin is a thief. A top Putin critic, Alexei Navalny, has been sentenced to 30 days behind bars. Well, some new images of alleged NSA leaker reality winner behind bars. The 25-year-old Air Force veteran and fitness instructor was caught on camera doing some yoga poses at the Georgia jail where she's being held right now. She's pleaded not guilty to leaking a classified document on Russian hacking. And a fairly shocking sight. Look at that. In Houston, a woman was riding on the hood of a car driving quite fast down the highway. Police are now trying to locate the vehicle's owner, well, for an explanation. And the White House has a new fashion trendsetter. 11-year-old Barron Trump has sparked a run on T-shirts at J.Crew. The expert T-shirt he wore Sunday while stepping off Marine One is now completely sold out, given new meaning to the word expertise.
Wait, Barron is tall.
Yeah, he is tall, right?
Oh, boy. I need to get one of those T-shirts now. Hey, we're going to turn now to the weather, the wild weather. There are dozens of tornadoes reported across the plains, and there's that record heat here in the Northeast. And let's go to Rob Marciano. Rob, is there more heat on the way? Is that possible?
It is. Today's going to be another hot one, Michael. As a matter of fact, right now it's 78 degrees, but humidity levels are high, so it already feels like 80. Check out the record temperatures yesterday. We're burning up the screen here in Times Square. 95 degrees in D.C., 95 in Providence, tied a record or broken in Worcester, Mass. 90 degrees there. Feels like 100 in many spots. Chicago again today. And heat advisories now in effect for Philadelphia and parts of the New York City metro area. Some cooling centers have been set up, and some schools are closing earlier because of that. Severe weather yesterday, mentioned that. Dozens of tornadoes reported. Carpenter, Wyoming, look at this. There were some injuries with it. Another one in Cheyenne, Wyoming. More severe weather coming today. Time now for your Tuesday trivia, brought to you by Sprint.
Hi, I'm Paul. People ask why I switched to Sprint. Well, their network reliability is within 1% of the big guys, and they have the best price for unlimited among national carriers. And wait, are you watching this on the awesome iPhone 7? You gotta get iPhone 7 from Sprint, and they'll give you a second one on them. What are you doing? Go switch to Sprint.
Who's he talking to?
I don't know, but I'd better go to Sprint.
Wait.
2 iPhone 7s! Love you!
Get Sprint Unlimited. And now, get iPhone 7 and get a second iPhone 7 on us.
try to get out the door again early today. It is going to be another hot day for us with higher humidity. The heat index, as we go for a temperature of 94 degrees this afternoon, that heat index over 95 and higher for several hours starting at lunchtime today. So again, try to exercise early. Make sure you hydrate. Stay in the shade, the AC when you can. Not nearly as hot tomorrow. We'll be tracking some showers and storms. Your best chance tomorrow with some strong storms possible, even on Father's Day right now, a 30% chance.